All right. Hi, Amigis.
Hola, amigis.
Welcome to our channel. So, this channel is going to be a plethora of things, but you've joined us for our book club series, which everyone is welcome to join. Brenda, would you like to invite anyone?
Yes. So we did this book club because we are just full-time girlies, straight out of college, some of us, and we are just trying to get back into reading, fix our vocabulary, fix our English, but mostly just get back into reading. And
Well,
so
hold on.
we
Straight out of
created,
grad school, not necessarily.
yeah.
We've
Oh,
graduated.
yeah,
We're
sorry.
professional women. We're working and we want to read. We want to read. Okay, so if you don't like spoilers, I don't recommend you join us on this journey. But we do recommend you start reading, and the book we're reading is Things We Never Got Over. Brenda, show the book. She bought the hardcover.
I got the hardcover. It is
I have
cute,
it in
by
my
the way.
Kindle. It is such a cute cover. Let's talk
Super
about it
cute.
because I went to a
This is
bookstore
cute.
and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the book covers make such a huge difference as to why you grab it and
Mm-hmm.
look for
Let's
it.
face it, we judge a book by its cover.
We judge a book by
Sometimes.
its cover. Exactly. So it's a good book so far. I mean, and granted, I had picked up I think the second book, and that book seemed good, but then I realized there's a book one, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I should probably
Oh.
start at that. And here we are, right? And I think I saw it on TikTok like every other reader today in America, where you look. I was on a journey to read. I was on a journey where it's like I want to pleasure read, and I want to just put this back into my life. And I started looking up recommendations, and that's where it got me to here. What about you, Brenda? Where did you?
So for me, of course, my bestie over here, she suggested this book, and I've always been into like the romance, like young adult books before as well, but I started reading. I like started choosing books just kind of, to increase my vocabulary, but then grad school came and I'm like, I need an easy book. No more. So we
Oh my
are
goodness!
on to this, which is such an easy
Right.
read, and I love that.
I think okay, can we talk about that for a quick second? Because
Mhm.
grad school, like I call it pleasure reading. You can't pleasure read. I don't even want to read an Instagram post. Like you have more than one word. I'm not reading your caption, right? And so I think to even try to get that massage your brain a little bit to get it back into that place. And I think a lot of people don't talk about it, or they want to create
Mhm.
an optical illusion. They're like, oh, I read all the time, which is great if you do, and that's your talent. But you get fried, like your brain is fried.
Yes, let me tell you, I think it took me almost like a month and a half to just even consider reading a book just for fun. And
Just
just
for
for
fun.
fun.
Yeah. Okay, so the way we're setting down this sort of book club, because again, we're professional women, so we also wanted to give
Mhm.
ourselves grace. We're doing 2 chapters a week. And if we see that we could do more, then we're going to do maybe more, right? And you'll see that. I don't know. Should we create an Instagram page for this account, Brenda?
I say we should. I think we
Okay,
can.
you'll see an Instagram
Yes.
page coming soon, and once that's created, you'll see everything down in the description below. I think to follow the book club series, maybe what we could do is post on our first video. Anyway, we're like talking logistics now, right? This
Mhm.
channel is also helping us stay focused, which we'll talk about. But why don't we go ahead and get started with chapter one? What did you think?
Yes. All right. Chapter one. I will say the one thing that I do like and threw me off is that the author actually, each chapter is dedicated to a character's viewpoint,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually very nice. I enjoy that, and it actually took me a while. This is how fried my brain is, but it took me a while to understand, like, oh, we are through the main character. Oh, now we switch to a different character.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
Yeah. And you know what? Easy read. So I started reading what's Game of Thrones, and it's similar. Like each character has its own chapter, and at times it became hard to follow. But this is, to your point, really easy. And chapter one starts with, I'm assuming is the main character, but they haven't
Mhm.
introduced the sister, Tina, who might be the main character potentially. It's kind of seems like she has a really big role, or all. So it's Naomi, Knox, and Tina.
Mhm.
And so far, we just been introduced to Naomi and Knox. Okay, let's with character description, right? Who? How
Yes.
did you picture them in your brain? Because obviously we don't have pictures, and that's how when I
Yeah.
read, I'm like trying to draw something out, but
Yes. That's how my brain goes. So, I don't know why. It's funny because I pictured a blonde-haired girl. I'm thinking New York City. She's from
mm,
Manhattan, nice uptown area, very well put together. That's what I'm getting. This kind of vibes. Little Miss City Girl is what I'm getting.
city girl. I got like kind of like an Instagram type because that's like the body, and like when
Oh.
Knox was describing her, she's like, oh, she's in like an athletic, like a luxurious athletic wear, toned body, brunette hair. That's what I was grasping at. And then for him, what's that? Taylor Swift's boyfriend has an older brother, right? Because she kept emphasizing he's a Viking, he's a Viking. So obviously she wanted to set the blonde hair, blue eye type of thing. But the way Naomi was describing him, I kind of got that older brother, but maybe just with like blonde hair, like a really buff
Mm.
guy, almost
Yeah,
like football
I
guy.
went completely different. I don't know why my brain was trying to associate him. I thought a little bit of Oregon, how it's like a little bit hipster because a little bit of what you were saying, like the blonde hair, blue-eyed, but he's like covered in tattoos. He's looking like a Viking, so I'm like, it's giving me hipster vibes.
Really? That's
Really?
funny. Okay, okay. What about when they described Tina? What were you thinking?
Oh, they did her dirty. She sounds like she sounds
Like
really
trashy.
bad.
I thought like
Trashy, yes.
Taylor, like just real hillbilly type. But then they tried
Mhm.
describing her as a biker chick, which I don't think correlate. Like biker badass chick
No.
is so different to just like trashy character, right? Don't cancel
Mhm.
us. I feel like that's just how she was written, right? Like, I don't know how else to say, but that's really funny. But yeah, I feel like people have different versions of like what they're reading and how they describe things. So that's always fun
Yes.
to go over. Okay, what else did you like about chapter one?
I think for chapter 1, I will say, uh, I'm really into, like, how let's see, Naomi and Knox, completely polar opposites.
Mm,
And I think Naomi is described as almost like the goody good two shoes type of person, and then you have Knox, who's like this intimidating, like biker guy, but somehow it seems like on the inside he actually has like a soft heart. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. So we have like a goody goody two shoes and somebody who's giving like this kind of bad boy image, but might not be.
right, right. I think okay. I'm gonna start with cheesy. It was so cheesy. Okay, listen, you have to get past the cheese.
You do.
It was a little corny, but like corny in the sense that you expect it because you picked up this romance novel in a romance bookstore. So don't complain that you have a romance novel from a romance bookstore.
You know what it's giving? Hallmark. The
It's
Hallmark
giving
movies.
Hallmark. Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. I haven't even watched a movie from Hallmark, but I know exactly what that sort of storyline is.
Look, listen, if Hallmark wants to take this book and turn it into like some version of its own movie, they really could. Because I feel like the language is there.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know what else it reminds me of? Did you ever watch? It was like a Southern show, like Southern Belle or Southern. Anyway, I'll think of the show the next episode. But that's the kind of writing. If you hear someone crying, it's my dog. So that's the kind of crying. That's the kind of storyline or kind of like character esque that I saw. But one, so the romance is kind of icky, but I feel like it's because she's developing a potential love interest. Like you can clearly tell
Mhm.
Knox and Naomi are extremely attracted to each other. Clearly she wants to like F him, right? Or
Yep.
get in his pants, let's be PG, you know, or whatever, do adult things with him. And you know, later when we're reading chapter 2, you know, he's kind of trying to deny his attraction to her, but sees it.
Mhm.
And then, you know, the whole twin thing. So I thought that storyline was also kind of, it's unique but also tacky at the same time, the way it's like, I'm the other twin, I'm not Tina, and you know, they're like, oh yeah, you're not. And I think when you're thinking of the story, it's unbelievable in real life, right? But
Oh,
in the
yes.
context of a book and the writing, it's fine, right? And I think once you get past chapter 1, it's just a fun read, I think.
Mhm. No, yeah, I think you nailed it. Yes. I think the one thing that honestly, it is a romance book, you're just gonna have to get used to all the cheesy,
Mhm.
corny things, but they are developing as to they're gonna have a very strong attraction, and we're gonna see how that works out because he keeps denying it, and she's too scared to admit it, but they got a thing going on, and we're gonna
Yeah.
see how this goes.
So for chapter 1 too, I also wanted to mention, because we do like to read to expand our vocabulary. I didn't see any good words chapter 1. Did you write down any?
No, so far it seems like a very easy read, just a fun read. Don't think there's gonna be a lot of vocab where you're like, let me just look it up real quick to see what it means.
Right. All right. Well, we'll
Mhm.
see. We'll see. Chapter 2, I did have one word. But you know, sometimes you get books that sprinkle them in versus have them in every other sentence. So we'll see. But that'll also be in the context of this, right? Like, well, how did this, you know, go with our vocabulary and whatnot? Okay, do you want to segue into chapter 2? Or do you have any other closing remarks for chapter 1?
No, I say we segue into chapter 2, Knox's point of view.
Knox's point of view, everyone. Okay, take it away, Brenda.
So I find it I find it very interesting because the way the author is trying to portray him is that he really is this tough guy. I don't give a F. I'm just here because so and so messaged me. There's, you know, Tina's back in town and I gotta go kick her out of town. But I'm telling you, I'm reading little things. I'm trying to see in between the lines, but I think he's kind of like he's gonna be like a big bear. Secretly, he's a teddy bear.
No, no, I agree. And again, I think they're building the romance, and I'm taking notes. I also copied this from TikTok, where like you kind of review the book and whatnot. That's another thing. Side note, Kindle, you do have a note feature and a highlight feature and a vocabulary builder feature, which I do use. But for the context of this, I think like just taking notes down, which I appreciate because you know you're writing as you're reading too, so that's also really nice. But I also thought it was corny. But you know, again, it's building, it's building. Let me see. You know what? I don't know why chapter 2 Naomi was so bratty. Like it seems so bratty, and I think
Mm,
that's where it was like no real human is acting like this. Like if you're devastated, you're not just like sitting. I don't know. It just, again, the writing real hallmarky,
yeah.
but I understand. Don't worry. You know, we're gonna read to enjoy, not to criticize. It is a romance, but for the romance, like it's up there. That's what you like.
Yep.
This is the book. This is the book. Obviously, they're also sort of really describing how the town is too, where there aren't a lot of women, right? If the what was it, the deputy or one of the cops is trying to hook her up with like the captain or the sheriff. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, it's a very small town. Clearly, you know, everyone knows each other. I actually thought it was kind of funny, and I did get a good chuckle when they were trying to like explain to Naomi, like, your sister stole your car. Like, wake
Oh
up,
my
like your
goodness,
sister
yeah.
stole your car. Come on, like, are you really that
They really make Naomi seem like like such a like I guess like a
airhead?
sweetheart. Like she would never do that is my sister. That is my family.
But you know
She
what
would
though?
never.
I think she protects her because I get it. She does protect her, which is annoying. But I think for her, I think she protects her for appearances versus, or I don't know. that's how I'm reading it. But I'm like, why
Yeah.
do you like? Clearly, she's a douchebag, and I don't know. But okay. Um, what else do you have on this chapter?
Let me see. I think, you know what? So far, it seems like the town very peaceful, a lot of older folk. So I feel like there's going to be uh I feel like a moment where I think she's gonna like connect with the community and watch her just wanna just stay there,
I do
build
want
a
to know
cabin
what
home or
Tina did to
something.
piss off the whole town. Like, I'm like, how does someone piss off a whole town? It seems like she keeps burning bridges and doing crazy things. Like, why isn't she in jail? Why hasn't she been like ran out of town? Like, I am excited to get to that part of it. The one word that I did look up was aspersion. So I did write that one down, and I do like it. It's basically defamation, but I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good word. Um, and and that's it. I will say, as critical of being as how corny and like romantic it is, it's not. Picked up books that are just too corny for me, and I put it down. This one is corny, but I think for all the right reasons and like a romance book.
Mhm.
So definitely don't feel like, Brenda, let's read another book.
Yeah.
Let's just, I think it's a good read so far. So it's
I
exactly what we're
think
looking for.
yeah, I think there's just like there's hints of there's gonna be a lot of different things going on. So it's gonna be like a nice escape from the corniness here and there because
Yeah.
you'll be like, oh my goodness, we just found out why Tina did this or how she got like kicked out of town and the cops are after her. So I think it's off to I will say an interesting start for
I would
sure.
say enjoyable, enjoyable. Okay, so to kind of segue into like, we're both professional women. It's enjoyable, but how difficult or how easy did you find it to like just read the two chapters within a week? So we gave ourselves a 1 week homework assignment. How easy was it for you?
Hmm. Honestly, it was super easy. How many pages? It's like I think like 23 pages. Yeah, 23 pages, but it's such a quick read. I think I literally sat down for like I didn't even count, but I'm assuming 30 minutes, but I was done very quickly and could have easily gone into like the other chapter.
Yeah, I will confess, I am so busy with work, which is why like I didn't think I was gonna have an issue because I read chapter one, I was like, cool, I was taking notes, and then I had to put the book down, and I just got so busy, and then today I was like, okay, no, I have to finish chapter two, take down my notes and everything, but that's what I'm trying to get better with is time, allocating the time and just doing it, and I don't know, it's just so busy this week. But that's what I'm trying to do. Just that discipline to read, whether it's 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. But we'll see. it
Yes. But again, it's an easy read, thankfully.
is. It is an easy read.
Uh
It is.
yeah, so easy read. There isn't too many like vocabulary that you have to stop
Right.
every like 10,
Right.
20 minutes to look up. So I'm pretty sure for those who are that like hardcore readers, they would probably finish this book in like less than a month for
And
sure.
less than two
Probably in
days. I
2 weeks.
remember when I read Twilight, I read one book in one day. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm addicted. This stuff is so good. Like, when's the next book coming out? And again, it's just getting back into that momentum. And then also, having this fun book club too, where we're trying to set realistic expectations for professional women. Like, we both have full time jobs. I think we could probably do 4 chapters a week, though. Do you want to do four
Hmm.
chapters?
Let's aim for 4 chapters. I
All
think
right,
we
we're
can
gonna do
do
four
4 chapters.
chapters. So if you're following along, do 4 chapters, and we'll see you next week on Wednesday. But again, if our schedule gets all crazy, we might shift this like maybe a
Hmm.
day or two, or maybe a day early. But just try to get that in, and it's such a fun book. Honestly, I have no excuse. I really probably could have finished it that sitting, but girl, I'm tired sometimes. I'm like, all right, let me put this down. I'm gonna do something else. But all in all, 10 out of 10 so far. Right? We picked up a romance book. I'm not gonna dock it for being corny because it's romance. So far it's good. I think we're gonna see how they build out the characters, and we hope you join us for our book club.
Yes, join us for the book club. We're just two working women just trying to get back into reading. So if you're on the same goal, just trying to get back onto reading, You're part of the club now.
You're part of the club. And listen, this doesn't just expand your vocabulary, it also helps your writing, it helps your speech, it helps your grammar. There's so many positives to just reading, even if it is a corny book. You know, it is what it is. But I do want to ask you, Brenda, one question is, you know, because I have a Kindle, so no one can see what I'm reading. But do you feel embarrassed at all if you whip out your book in public?
No, I feel like now it's such a like such a trend for girls to be out at cafes, random areas, and they're reading books. And to be honest, they're
No,
romance
the
books.
romance.
Not, I'm not. For all I know, I could just pretend be like, oh, this is like a mystery book. It's like there's like murder and whatnot because you don't know. Can't judge
You
a
don't
book by its
know.
cover.
You don't know. What about like purse wise, right? Because I was just throwing this in my purse. So were you reading at home? Were you reading in the office? Like, or when you had time? What were you doing?
For me, I notice I have a lot of time either on the weekend, and so I'm usually at home, or maybe just like after work, I'll just grab the book. I have the book literally in my room, either on top of my desk or just somewhere where I can see it. Where
Right.
if I'm sitting on my bed on TikTok, I'm like, the book is right there. I should just
Yeah.
walk on over there and grab the book.
Right, right.
Yeah, I make sure it's visible for me to see so I can pick it up. I'm like, it's an easy book. I
I
can
think
read it within 10 minutes.
Oh, 1000%. I think it's that discipline of like, let me get off my phone and read the book instead. Like, if, and I say this all the time, if you can spend 20 minutes on social media, an hour on TikTok or an hour on YouTube, you can spend an hour reading. And I think it's just that preference. And again, it comes back down to like you wanting to relax your brain and just choosing, let me relax my brain with a book versus relaxing my brain with my phone and or a movie or whatever. So yeah, learning curve, learning lesson for our
Yep.
life. Yeah, this is our first episode. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you pick up the book. And oh, we didn't even mention the title of the author. I mean the author. Can you do that? Can you put up your book and
Yes.
the author? Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. Follow along. We're going to be posting regularly. And then again, this channel is going to be a lot of things. So have a great time, Amigis.
We'll see you at the next episode.
All right. Bye, everyone.